Welcome to Golos versus Golos. Hope you're excited. It's always fun to just get, I don't know, it's just kind of like when you play the same Street Fighter character versus each other. It's just a lot of fun. So as far as opening hand goes, we do have 3 lands. We have Arcane Signet, we have Planar Cleansing. We don't have a lot of ramp, but with us having a board wipe and a closer with Enray's Forerunners, I guess I'm tempted to keep because we do have a little bit of card advantage with Temple of Plenty. I mean, it's not much, but it's a scry. Yeah, we'll keep on this one. Or do we want to? I mean, yeah, let's go on mulligan. I mean, if we just don't hit ramp anytime soon, yeah, this does not sound that fun. So let's go on mulligan on this one. And Plaza, yes, I like this a little bit better. We will keep on this one. We've got a little bit of card advantage. Let's go ahead and lead off with Temple of Mystery. Get the Scry going, Scurry. Little bit of Fever. And we will, yeah, we're going to put that on top. I mean, it's a land and it allows us to get the lands going. So we're playing Golos, Tireless Pilgrim. Golos enters the battlefield. Search your library for a land card. Put it on the battlefield tapped. Then shuffle your library. Plaza of Harmony enters the battlefield, and if we wanted to go for, yeah, if we want to set up a turn 3, we need to go Evolving Wilds. Let's go and crack Evolving Wilds. There we go. Let's activate that. And I think at this point, what we'll probably grab is a blue source, because we do have Mass Manipulation in here. That's one of our kind of payoff cards, and so we want to make sure we've got enough blue sources for that. And then Plaza will come down next turn with New Horizons, which will allow us to ramp, because if we're going to win this game, what we want to do is we want to ramp quicker than our opponent. So let's go New Horizons. We're going to put that onto our basic islands, because that's going to put us on next turn for at least 4 mana. And opponent's going to go for Growth Spiral. Okay, that's good. So we're at least going to be able to, they're keeping neck and neck with the ramp. And then we'll pass it over to our opponent. So we're playing Golos. Enters the battlefield, grab a land, enters the battlefield, tap. Then for a 2 mana Wooburg activation, exile the top 3 cards of your library. You may play them this turn without paying their mana cost. Now, if you're keeping score at home, we're playing against Golos on this side of the battlefield. This Golos on this side of the battlefield enters the battlefield, grabs the land, and then also this same Golos has that same 2 mana Wooburg activation. If you didn't believe me, I just highlighted the card. So there you go. You didn't believe me. I think at this point, District Guide sounds pretty good with Thassa. So we do have the land drop to make for the turn, and unfortunately we don't have anything that's going to enter the battlefield untapped, otherwise we would go for Golos. So I think at this point we're just going to try to set up, let's go District Guide. We're going to grab ourselves a we're going to grab ourselves a Plains, because we do have Planar Cleansing. We do want to get to that at some point. Let's have Selesnya. Actually, we'll have Simic Guildgate enter the battlefield tapped. And then once we end up going for Thassa, this is another great addition to a Golos deck. You know, I used to play Golos when Arena kind of first came out, not first came out, but I was real heavy into Brawl, and I kind of took a break from Brawl, so now I'm back into Brawl. But basically, that's what I'm trying to say. I'm playing Brawl post-Theros, and Thassa is very nice in a Golos deck. I mean, it is just having that extra Conjurer's Closet effect where you can exile something and get back on the battlefield. That is very, very nice feeling. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So with Thassa, yeah, the only downside with District Guide is it goes into our hand, but I mean, that's going to be okay. So, and I think at this point, we really want to kind of get this Field of the Dead going pretty quick. So let's do this. So let's go for Golos. Let's have Field of the Dead come down. Disdainful Stroke. Yeah, we kind of walked into that one. That happens, though. At least we got it out of the way. And then we're going to have Selesnya Guildgate enter the battlefield tapped. And yeah, I guess we'll just go and start chipping away at our opponent, because even our opponent pays the 5 mana for the Adapt 3. We're not going to toss District Guide in front of Incubation Druid, so we'll just kind of do it like that. But we are looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 6 with Plains, and then once we do get Field of the Dead on the battlefield, that will allow us to get these triggers going. And our opponent does have their very own Field of the Dead. So when you have a Field of the Dead versus Field of the Dead matchup, Divine Visitation is king. So you can turn your zombies into angels, and that's what we're going to be digging for. We also do have the option of just straight up just going for Hydrokrasis to cash in some card draw. We might end up doing that. So we'll see what we can do. There we go. Mass Manipulation. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got 6. One thing that we can do is that we can gain control. And if I'm correct, once we have Golos enter the battlefield on our side, I think we'll be in a pretty good spot. Because we could do that. Because we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's going to be Plains. Our opponent's tapped out, so let's just do this. So let's go Golos. Let's grab ourselves Field of the Dead. Yeah, we're definitely going to take that action. Let's grab Field of the Dead. That's going to give us an extra zombie to keep up with their zombies. And then no attacks. We're going to go and pass the turn. So now we do have mass manipulation. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've got 8 total mana. So we're at least going to be able to grab 2 different options from our opponent. If we grab Golos, that's going to keep Golos on our side. We can send our Golos back to our command zone. And that'll kind of get rid of any sort of Wooburg activations. Because if you've never done the Golos matchup, or at least late game, it just kind of turns into who can do the 2-mana Wooburg activations. And also, if you're new to Magic, if you don't know what Wooburg means, Wooburg is just white, blue, black, red, green. So when you see a card like Golos that says 2-mana, white, blue, black, red, green, I just, nomenclature, you can say Wooburg as a way to kind of just shorthand that. So if you're confused on what Wooburg is, there you go. All right, so we've got a 9/9 Beanstalk Giant, and this kind of makes this mass manipulation just a little bit better. And I think that sound. Oh, and then the fact that we can Mystic Sanctuary it back on top. Oh yeah. All right, so we're gonna go for mass manipulation 4/2. Let's gain control of Beanstalk. We're gonna gain control of Golos. We're gonna go ahead and auto pay because that's gonna be all of our mana. And then we're going to. This is our commander. And this is our opponent's commander. So we're going to choose this Golos to keep, and then we're going to put our Golos in the command zone. There we go. Let's have Mystic Sanctuary come down. It's going to give us an extra one, and then anything else, we're going to go ahead and pass the turn. We don't want to swing in just yet. We're in a pretty good tempo spot. We got rid of their way to kind of dump a ton of mana. Oh, bummer. They're going to get Golos back. Okay, at least we forced the issue, so that's going to kind of clear it out. And what we can do on this one is we can just go for a Hydroid Krasis for a bunch, and then really kind of develop a lot of, just cash in a ton of card draw, because that's going to be, oh yeah, that's going to be very nice. We don't have to worry about any sort of counter magic from our opponent either. So that's going to be 1, 2, so that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that's going to be 8. So let's go extra zombie. Let's go Hydroid Krasis for 8. And there's nothing wrong with just dumping a bunch of mana into Hydroid Krasis. That's what he is there for. So tap 10 mana, cash in some card draw, cash in some life gain, and then we run into Banishing Light. Okay, all right, so if our opponent wants to go for Golos, that will be 7 mana. We're still keeping up with the zombie factory. We're digging into our library. We're hoping that we can find Divine Visitation at some point. Thankfully, with Banishing Light, that does give us some universal removal to kind of deal with something. And so we'll see what we can rip into. We do have Thirst for Meaning, which is going to allow us to draw into some extra cards to hopefully find that Divine Visitation. And since we've gotten Golos out there, we've gotten Field of the Dead out there, we can almost kind of, not necessarily forget about Golos, but we can at least leave Golos in the command zone for the time being. So yeah, if we can find that Divine Visitation, that'll really allow us to, especially if we run into Time Wipe, or we run into something like Planar Cleansing, that's really going to allow us to get ahead of these zombies against our opponent, because they're looking at 2 zombies. We'll block on this one. I mean, Hydro Krasis can't be bounced, and if they want to trade zombies for zombies, we'll do that. And then I'm not sure what else they could have done on that one. Incubation Druid, okay. And that's going to be Arcane Signet. Okay, yeah, that's fine. There we go, run into Time Wipe. So, so let's go and push in with Hydroid Krasis. And actually, I really do like this play. So we're going to knock them down to 16. And so we go for Temple of Plenty. It's going to enter the battlefield. That's going to be just, let's make sure that we're doing this right. So we need 5 mana for Time Wipe. That's going to be, yeah, let's do this. So we go Island. That's going to give us an extra zombie on the battlefield. Let's go Time Wipe. Let's return Hydroid Krasis back to our hand and then destroy all of the creatures. It's going to send their Golos back to their command zone. And then we should be able to Hydroid Krasis for 4. Yeah, it's not the biggest Hydroid Krasis, but it is a very nice tempo play for us. Let's go on auto pay. That's going to be 2 extra card draw that we're going to be able to cash in, and then we've got a flying threat in the air. So at this point, we're probably going to go ahead and get rid of, because we want to keep making our land drops, we're just going to get rid of Chemist's Insight, or actually Incubation Druid's probably a little bit better option, because we can get some pretty good card draw off of that. And then anything else, yeah, I'll pass it back over to our opponent. So it's going to be Storm's Wrath. That's going to deal with old Hydroid Krasis, but we got our miles out of Hydroid Krasis, so we'll take that. That's going to be Narset, and then go for the -1 to kind of dig for some stuff. Eventually, we're going to run into that Divine Visitation. That's going to be really hard for them. So one thing that you do want to keep in mind with Narset is each opponent can't draw more than 1 card each turn. I am terrible about forgetting about that. So, yeah, let's just go and deal with it right now. Let's go Banishing Light on Narset. They might have counter magic. They might. All right, we can deal with Narset because we need to cash in some card draw this turn. Because we need to find that Divine Visitation. So let's go Thirst for Meaning. We're going to draw 3 cards, and we can always discard Omen of the Hunt if we need to, if we find something that we do like. Let's go ahead and discard... Yeah, we're probably running out of basics at some point. Let's go Chemist's Insight. And at this point, we're just trying to find that Divine Visitation. All right, there we go. Finale or March of the Multitudes. Either way, that's going to get it done. So let's lead off with Temple of Plenty. Actually, we'll lead off with the Guildgate because that's going to enter the battlefield tapped either way. And then we will pass the turn over to our opponent. So we did run into Conclave Tribunal. So if they get down another threat we don't really want to worry about or something, then let's see, what are we going to get rid of? Arcade Signet. We've got a ton of mana at this point right now. And then... also, if you don't know, my wife and I, we had a baby. Kind of transitioning into that. The reason I am is because I have the baby monitor set up next to my computer, and I record Magic in the mornings, and she was asleep, and then I just happened to look over, and she's awake, staring directly into the camera. So, if you don't have a child with a baby monitor, one of the scariest things you can do is look into the monitor and then see that your baby is staring right back at you, and that's what just happened. So hopefully we can close it out for Loretta's sake pretty soon, because when she wakes up, she's like, heck yeah, let's go, let's have some fun. And if we actually go Wilderness Reclamation, there's going to be a ton of tokens as March of the Multitude. But to be honest, I think at this point, I'd rather just tap out for a huge March of the Multitudes on our opponent's turn. I think that'll be good. So let's go Temple of Plenty. We're going to get that. That's going to be... I was thinking we're going to shock it in. I was like, I don't want it to come and play tap, but it's a Scryland. And then Hollowed Fountain. Let's go and put that on the bottom. And then I think we're just going to wait... We can actually, what we can do is we can go for Wilderness Reclamation. Yeah, I like this. So we go Wilderness Reclamation. And so once we get this down, if our opponent's got counter magic, they'll probably want to stop it. They've only got access to 3 mana. Let's go Finale. And that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. No, excuse me. It's going to be 6. So let's go on auto pay for 6. That's going to give us 6 2/2 tokens on the battlefield. And then the other good thing is that if they have a board wipe, they may want to use it, and that keeps us open on March of the Multitudes with Wilderness Reclamation. So no attack from that zombie token, and then we will go ahead and pass the turn over to our opponent. So we're going to untap all of our lands, which is very nice in this one, and then pass it back over to us. So if we end up going March of the Multitudes, the good thing about us chaining this Finale of Glory together is that it's going to work really well with our Convoke. And so that should be enough for us to swarm it out. Shatter the Sky. Each player who controls a creature power 4 or greater draws a card, then destroy all creatures. Yeah, that's fine. We'll go and let that go on through. It's going to get rid of everything. And in fact, I need to add that to our deck. Having not conditional, but cheap board wipes is pretty much where this deck wants to be. So what we're going to do on this one, once they get to their end step, we're going to go for March of the Multitudes. And we're going to do that in response to that trigger. So let's go March of the Multitudes. That's going to be 1, 2, 3... and that should be 10. We're going to go for 11. Okay, so that's not going to work. Let's go March of the Multitudes for 10. And then auto pay. And that's going to give us 10 tokens on the battlefield with lifelink. And so we'll see if this is going to be good. You know, our opponent might have some sort of response to this. If they've got a counter spell, so be it. All right, opponent's going to scoop it up on that one. There we go. So we're going to get those lifelink tokens on the battlefield. We're going to close it out. Very nice. You can see where we were digging for that Divine Visitation. We could never find it. But thankfully, between Finale of Glory and then going for March of the Multitudes, we were able to get enough of a board state to close it out. And also, Loretta is waking up and she is excited for me to tell her about the all the tokens that we got out here today. So anyways, if you enjoyed the video, hey, or actually, no, excuse me, I'll catch you in the next game. All right, bye. Welcome to Golos, Zombie Angels, Bant flavor. That's the best kind of zombies, the Bant flavor of zombies. If you don't believe me, try them. They taste really good. As far as opening hand goes, we've got, yes, we've got all the mana base we need. We've got Wilderness Reclamation, and then we have Dryad, and then also Tameo. So we'll go and keep on this one. It's nice to have double Scry and double Scurry in a singleton format like that. So let's go and lead off with Temple of Plenty. Let's get the Scry going, Scurry. A little bit of Insanity. And Anticipate, yeah, we'll go and leave that on top because that's we're not going to be able to go for it just yet, but that'll give us something to do on turn 2 because since we do have something that enters the battlefield tapped with our mana base. So let's go and lead off with Temple of Enlightenment. Let's get an extra Scry. Well, why not? Let's go for it. Let's have some fun. We'll put Temple of Mystery on top of our library, then we will pass the turn. So we're playing Golos, Tireless Pilgrim. Golos enters the battlefield, search your library for a land card, put it on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. Then for a 2-mana Wooburg activation, exile the top 3 cards of your library. You may play them this turn without paying their mana cost. So let's go ahead and, yeah, we're going to go for another Temple of Mystery. I think that's going to be good. Ooh, yes, yes, yes. Divine Visitation. This is a long shot, but we're going to put it on top because that is a decent win condition for us, and then anything else we will pass the turn. So we're actually doing really good because we want Field of the Dead with Golos. That's going to be our target most of the time that we're trying to grab. And so with Golos, once we get the 7 different lands on the battlefield, we're already almost halfway there, more than halfway there with Tranquil Cove. We'll be able to really get some zombies on the battlefield. And then once we draw into Divine Visitation, we'll be in a pretty good spot. Now, if we can get to Planar Cleansing sometime soon before we die, that might be good. We'll see. So let's go for Anticipate because we need to get a little bit of action. Ooh, and then Gift of Paradise. Oh, and excuse me, with Anticipate, we need Divine Visitation. So, yeah, we'll go and grab that, and we'll see what we're going to draw for next turn. Because, yeah, that does give us a win condition. And then we run into Hollowed Fountain. So, let's have Tranquil Cove enter the battlefield. That's going to be an extra life gain. Let's have Dryad enter the battlefield. And that's going to allow us to make an extra land drop. So we're going to have that enter the battlefield tapped and then pass the turn. So I had played Golos Zombies kind of for a while there. It was kind of like a mix of 4/5 colors splashing for like the 5th color barely. And so when I wanted to kind of do my Brawl series for the channel with Golos, I was like, man, I kind of want to consolidate this deck into a little bit more of a Bant style deck. And that's what we're doing now. And it works out perfectly. One of the best additions to this deck is Dryad because it turns on Nissa. It's going to allow you to get some extra force. Let's see who's all swinging in. If it's not that big of attack, we'll just go ahead and take it at this point because we're trying to end up going for a Planar Cleansing. And if we do run into that extra land drop, then we'll be able to go for that. So it looks like we've got the entire crew swinging in. I mean, we've already got our use out of Dryad and we're going for a Planar Cleansing. So let's just go ahead and block on 7 Dwarves. I mean, if they've got some sort of combat trick, they've got it. We're willing to kind of lose this one. And if they burn it trying to get rid of Dryad, that's perfectly fine with us because that kind of frees us up to go for something like Tameo. All right, there we go. All right, so the 7 Dwarves. Luckily, we have Dryad being able to trade with the 7 Dwarves. And let's see if they have another combat spell or not. At the very least, we're just looking at 3 coming across. Puts us down to 17, which is very manageable, especially if we run into an untapped land, because we do have the necessary white mana for a Planar Cleansing. Now, here's the downside. Yeah, let's just go and do this. So let's go Golos. Golos is going to be a 3/5. We don't really care if something happens to Golos, because the main action is we just want that land on the battlefield. Let's grab that Field of the Dead. I'm just going to enter the battlefield tapped, and that's going to put us on for Planar Cleansing, and then we can really kind of start to roll out some of these. Oh, Tectonic Rift. That's a bummer. We could still end up going Divine Visitation because we do have other ways that we can get tokens on the battlefield. I mean, that was almost like counter speed. How quick that was. And then we run into Paradise Druid. Okay, so at this point we can actually, well, we still end up going Tameo. We can go for the -3. I kind of like that because we go -3. That forces some of these creatures to come block. Let's do that. So let's go -3. Let's return Field of the Dead back to our hand. Much obliged. There we go. Let's put Field of the Dead on the battlefield. No attacks, and then we will pass it back over to our opponent. So this deck, this Golos deck, it is a late game deck. Let me put it that way. You know, if you get paired against something like Torbran or something that's very aggressive, you're going to have a hard time. But if you can just get a board wipe off, kind of clear it out, you know, once the red deck has kind of gone through all of their stuff, you're in a pretty good spot to kind of take the game over. Can you imagine if we just keep making our land drops, we keep going for Divine Visitation. In fact, next turn, if we run into a land, that's just going to be a Planar Cleansing, which is going to be very, very nice for us. So let's see, that's going to be the entire crew swinging in at Tameo. Yeah, Tamio, both of those are at, so this one's at us, this one's at us, this one's at Tamio, this one's at Tamio. So let's go ahead and block on one of the goblins. Make sure that's correct. Sometimes it's a little hard to see the line. So we're going to block on one of the goblins. Oh yeah, and then with Torbran out there, still going to get rid of that one. All right, so we run into Guildgate, which is nice, because that's going to be our last lane, and we're sitting at 8. This is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus 2. So I think we go Guildgate. That's going to be an extra zombie on the battlefield. Let's go for Paradise Druid. Oh, and excuse me. Yeah, we can still go for, yeah, because we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, for some reason I was thinking we didn't have Planar Cleansing online. Sorry about that. Let's go and push in with Golos. We're going to swing in to see if we can get any sort of moving out of Golos on this one. And then hopefully with this Planar Cleansing, we'll be in a very good spot. All right, so let's go Planar Cleansing. I'm just going to clear everybody out. We're going to go put Golos into the command zone. Definitely not the graveyard. And our opponent's completely tapped out on mana, so that's going to be the reset button, and then we'll be good to go. So the way this works with Field of the Dead, we do have an active Field of the Dead. Once we go for Divine Visitation, simply just hitting like a land next turn will turn us into a 4/4 Angel. Which is very nice. All right, so we do run away together. Let's go Divine Visitation. And is there any way we can set this up just a little bit better? That's still either way with Chromatic Lantern. So I think what we might end up doing is Divine Visitation. Yeah, I kind of like doing this. So let's do this. So let's go Golos, because we're going to have a body on the battlefield, and then, yes, and then that's also going to allow us to get an extra creature. So let's grab this Temple of Epiphany. We'll get the Scry, and we'll get that Field of the Dead trigger on the stack. And that's going to be Forest. Yes, we do want a Forest on top of our library, because that's going to set us up for Divine Visitation for next turn. And we can block on our opponent. So this is exactly where the deck wants to be. We've finally gotten a spot to where that Planar Cleansing really kind of cleared the board up. And then we're going to have some fun. Hopefully get some angels on the battlefield. That's kind of the name of the game with this one. With Field of the Dead, whenever they've printed Field of the Dead, like I saw that and I'm like, my God. This is an insane card. I love it. And at this point right now, since we are at 8, we're playing against mono red, we're pretty much going to be blocking on any variation, unless it's a goofy block. Yeah, this is just straight up. I'm just a normal creature, and this is straight up a 7 dwarf. So if they've got a combat trick and they want to burn it right now, so be it. That'll make it a little bit easier for us, but that's at least going to keep Golos out there. And then Banner. All right, yeah, that was a wonderful attack by our opponent. I don't mean that sarcastically. It was just, sometimes people attack in hopes that we don't block. Thinking they have a combat trick, but we have a good enough board state to where we don't have to worry about that. So let's lead off with Forest. That's going to be a 4/4 Angel. Oh goodness, that's beautiful. And then let's have a Paradise Druid. Actually, we go Chromatic Lantern. Yeah, that'll be just enough for Paradise Druid. And then have that come down. And then let's get Golos swinging in. Yeah, I think that sounds pretty good. We're going to swing in for 1, knock him down to 19, then pass the turn. So we could have held back Golos, but at this point, them only having basically 5 mana, not really sure what sort of hasty options they have out of the deck. Between Paradise Druid and the Angel token, we're going to be in a pretty good spot. Now, they do have Robber of the Rich, Reach and Haste. And we'll just go ahead and block Angel on Robber. Yeah, because they just have Reach and Haste. Yeah, we'll go and block on that. There we go. And if they've got a combat trick, there we go. Burn Bright, okay. That's going to lose the Angel token, but thankfully with just making land drops, we're going to be in a pretty good spot. So let's have Command Tower come down. This could be another 4/4 Angel. Let's go and push in. We'll have Golos swing in. And yeah, I think we're still going to at least hold back 2 people. Knock them down to 16. And then let's go for Wilderness Reclamation. Yeah, I think I kind of like that. And that's going to be the end of our turn. Oh, dang it. Okay, so sorry about that. So with the Wilderness Reclamation, I wanted to add some mana so we could go for some Golos triggers. But unfortunately, I was thinking that trigger would go on the stack, but it auto-yielded through it. So my intention was to do that, was to float some mana with the Wilderness Reclamation. But apparently I didn't set up a stop right. So that's a little bit of a bummer on my part. So opponent's going to go for Light Up the Stage. And that's going to be a hard cast on that one. So that's pretty much what we want to see. And then outside of that, we'll probably still end up going for some Golos activations. And then that way, let's get it to our end step, opponent's in turn. All right, so let's go for Golos. There we go. Exile the top 3 cards when we pay them without paying their mana cost. We'll see what's in store for us. We do have some game control stuff in here. We do have a couple different X spells, but oh, and excuse me, that's a little bit of a misplay on my part. For some reason, I was thinking we could just cast them. So that would have been better to get the other way. So let's go Gifted Paradise. We're going to put that onto, we're going to get a little bit extra life. Yeah, sorry about that. For some reason, I was thinking we could, I've been playing Magic all morning, and sometimes when you play Magic all morning, your brain just gets a little bit, does some goofy things. All right, so let's go for Omen of the Hunt. That's going to allow us to grab a basic land, put it on the battlefield tapped. The good thing about this is it's going to give us another angel token. So let's grab ourselves a Plains. There we go. Let's get that angel on the battlefield. Yeah, with going for that Golos activation, we missed out on Nyx Bloom, but hey, that happens sometimes. All right, so we're going to get another angel on the battlefield. And the good thing is we can start to swing in with some of these angels. So let's go and push in. Now that we've got 2 back on blockers, we're just going to send the entire crew in. Because we do have run away together, that's going to allow us to send something back to their hand if they do get something like that. All right, so we're going to knock them down to 7. And then anything else, we will go and pass the turn. So we're going to untap our lands. It's going to keep us open on Chemist's Insight, and then we will wait for the Golos trigger to happen. I think what it was is I was thinking Electro Dominance. So if this makes sense, so with Electro Dominance, you can cast that spell at any point. And so with Golos, I was thinking like, well, we can just play them, but since it was in our opponent's end step, we just couldn't cast them. All right, so it's going to be Jay is a Greeting, 3 damage to target creature. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we could go for, no, we don't want to go for a Golos activation. We don't want to fall into that same trap. And then they're going to get a Scurry one, and that's going to be one. Yeah, we'll go and put Golos back into the command zone. And then let's just go for a quick Chemist's Insight. We might be able to grab an Enrace Forerunners. Looks like we don't. And then we will go and pass. All right, let's scoop it up on this one. We did run into Evolving Wilds, which is a wonderful addition in this deck. And that's going to allow us to get 2 zombies for the price of 1, or zombie angels for the price of 1. But yeah, sorry about that misplay with Golos. I play a lot of Commander and I play a lot of Arena, and sometimes your brain just gets cross-wired on a certain line of play that you think is going to work and doesn't happen. But we're able to close it out. We bounce back from the mistake, and I will catch you in the next game. All right, bye.